there is danger, there's only one girl in all the world that you can call or be who can do anything, even when the situation seems impossible. Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. I'm ERod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster, and our story begins in the early 2000s. Buffy was about to end, Alias was just beginning, and Powerpuff Girls was one of the hottest new franchises on the planet. Suffice it to say, girl power was all the rage. And it was during this time that animation legends Bob Schooley and Mark McCorkle were working on Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, and the Disney Channel was accepting pitch meetings for new animated shows for the following year. And then it happened, the most legendary elevator ride in the history of showbiz. Schooley and McCorkle entered an elevator, the doors closed, and McCorkle turned to Schooley and said, "Kim Possible, she can do anything." And right on cue, Schooley said her partner is Ron Stoppable. He can't do anything. And Kim Possible was born out of that. A literal elevator pitch.
It is impossible.
No, but real close.
The plot. Kim Possible is your basic average girl. Cheerleader, a student, loving daughter, but with one tiny itty bitty little difference. While some of us are really good at sports and others are good with technology, Kim Possible is naturally really good at saving the world.
Okay, you saved the world using your mad cheerleading skills to fight bad guys.
No way. That's silly. Who'd ever believe a cheerleader could do that?
Yes, I know, it sounds silly, but Kim Possible is kind of like Footloose. When you say the plot out loud, it sounds ridiculous, but if you give it a chance, it's awesome. It's also important to accept that Kim Possible takes place in its own universe, where her globe-trotting, world-saving adventures are seen as common everyday events. That's right, Kim doesn't have a secret identity, nor does she ever make an effort to hide her adventures from anyone. Her teachers, friends, and parents are fully aware of what she does, and they just hilariously accept it. Also, Kim doesn't work for a secret agency that assigns her missions. She is a free agent that fell into the world-saving business strictly by chance. I know, it sounds far-fetched, but you just gotta trust me when I tell you that in this show, for some reason, it just works. Character design and animation. Suspiciously, this show has a lot in common with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, both characters have the same middle name. Now, some of these similarities can be dismissed as mere coincidence, others are a little harder to accept. Like, for example, Kim Possible's original design. I mean, look at her, she looks like Bruce Timm's version of Buffy. Thankfully, Steven Silber was brought on as the show's lead character designer, and boy did that make all the difference, as he is responsible for giving the show its own distinct look and style that remains exclusively associated with the series to this very day. The animation was primarily handled by Rough Draft Korea, and while this show is primarily known as a comedy, it has some of the most impressive action sequences you will ever see in any animated production. For this, many credit director/writer Steve Lauder, who always pushed for the comedy to have the same weight and impact as a Looney Tunes or Tex Avery cartoon, and for the action to be just as intense as a Mission Impossible or James Bond movie. Suffice it to say, his objectives were definitely achieved.
That would be so cool if it wasn't gonna hurt us.
Cast and characters. Before I start talking about the cast, I have to give props to the voice director, as this show has one of the very best, Lisa Schaefer. Kim Possible is a show in which the characters have a very specific rhythm and cadence in which they speak.
Jealous. You're gelling.
I am not gelling.
Uh-huh.
It's just that my weirdr's going off, that's all.
And you're gelling.
So not.
It's a unique flow that facilitates the lighthearted tone, makes the show come across even more witty than it already is, and it seamlessly builds up to each punchline. But you know what's the real head scratcher here? Due to scheduling conflicts, Lisa Schaefer had to record most of the actors separately, and somehow, some way, kept all the dialogue in the same rhythm. That is amazing.
Oh, right, like you called dibs.
Well, I am now. Dibs.
Ah, well, I'm calling double dibs.
You've won this round with your superior dib calling.
Okay, let's talk about the actors, as this show has one of the greatest supporting casts ever. Gary Cole and Gene Smart as Kim's parents, Spencer Fox as Kim's brothers, Jim and Tim, Patrick Warburton as Mr. Barkin, and the list goes on and on and on. Alright, let's start talking about the main players, starting with the villains. Kim Possible has one of the greatest rogues galleries of all time, right up there with Batman and Spider-Man. Oh, you heard me right. Now, usually when I talk about the bad guys, I start with the least pivotal threat and build up to the show's main antagonist. But today, I'm gonna do things a little different, as we're gonna start this off with Kim Possible's most vile adversary, Bonnie Rockwaller, played by Kristen Storms. While Kim can handle megalomaniacal psychopaths bent on world domination, the one villain she can't defeat is her school nemesis, Bonnie Rockwaller. Bonnie is the Cordelia of the show, the cold-hearted mean girl who lives to knock Kim down a peg. But unlike Cordelia, Bonnie doesn't go through a multi-season redemption arc that spans 2 different series. Bonnie remains the same rotten heel throughout the series. I will give the creators some credit for actually humanizing Bonnie and not allowing her to remain a one-dimensional bully. In the episode Bonding, Kim gets to see Bonnie's home life and discovers that it's not as ideal as she expected. Bonnie's parents put impossible amounts of pressure on her to be the best at everything. So when Bonnie can't be the best, her default strategy is to knock down whomever's the best, which generally tends to be Kim. And while Bonnie might be the queen bee at Middleton High, she's just the overlooked younger sibling at home, where she is bullied on the regular by her 2 older sisters.
I got all the brains.
I got all the looks.
And Bonnie got the rest.
Yes, very sad. Anyway, Bonnie is still pure evil.
Suit up, Kim. We're working on our new cheer.
Don't tell me what to do. Wait, what new cheer?
Mine.
Senor Senior Senior and Senor Senior Junior, played by Ricardo Montalban and Nestor Carbonell. Did I mention that the cast of this show is freaking amazing? Senior is a jet-setting billionaire and single father who is bored. So he takes up villainy, as per Ron's suggestion.
All I'm saying is that a guy could take over the world from a place like this. I mean, it wouldn't take much. Maybe an indoor lagoon full of piranha.
Piranha?
And as it turns out, he's pretty good at it. His spoiled wimpy son, Junior, not so much.
Junior, are you all right?
Do I look tanner now?
A big part of the hilarity between these two is Senior clumsily trying his best to teach his son how to be a villain, while the heir apparent has other pursuits in mind. Bye. Duff Killigan, played by Brian George. He is the world's most dangerous golfer. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This guy makes Happy Gilmore look like Bob Ross. Banned from every golf course on the planet due to his intense temperament, Killigan dedicates his vast fortune and mad golfing skills to villainy and revenge. And while he may not always hit a hole-in-one, he does have a killer slice.
Ha! You missed!
He's got backsman!
Lord Monkey Fist, played by Tom Kane. Originally, he was an aristocrat named Monty Fisk, who became obsessed with Tai Ching Pek Kwa, Monkey Kung Fu. Thus, he became Lord Monkey Fist, villainous martial arts master hell-bent on unlocking the secrets of mystical monkey power and becoming the mythical Monkey King.
I spent the family fortune to get these and these. Bad road, bad road, bad road!
On a personal note, in 2020, Tom Kane was forced into early retirement when he lost his ability to speak properly to a debilitating stroke. Now, Mr. Kane's social media accounts are still active and being managed by his daughter. So if you have a quick minute to spare today, if you could please send Mr. Kane some words of encouragement and voice your appreciation for his work and his characters, I'm sure him and his family would surely appreciate it. Thank you. Now, let's get back to the video. Dr. Draken, played by John DiMaggio. Dr. Draken is one of my top 10 favorite John DiMaggio characters, only second to Bender. You can quote me on that. Kim's most recurring adversary, which has more to do with quantity of world domination schemes as opposed to quality.
Kim Kim Possible has foiled my plans for the last time!
Yeah, the last time today, maybe.
Originally disgraced scientist Drew Lipsky, he turned to villainy when his fellow scientists started making fun of him, which led to his skin inexplicably turning blue, and him renaming himself Dr. Draken.
Draken's his stage name.
Draken is the type of guy who has a lot of brilliant ideas but no clue how to execute them, and is often the creator of his own downfall. One of my favorite aspects of Draken is that, like Kim, he too has a nemesis within his own field, Professor Dementor, played by none other than Patton Oswalt. And this character, believe it or not, was born out of a one-note joke.
Hello? No, this is not Professor Dementor. He moved.
He is the villain that Draken wishes he was. Never mind that Dementor loses to Kim Possible just as much as Draken. All the bad Doctor sees is Dementor's status, which he covets, even though Draken has come a hell of a lot closer to defeating Kim Possible than Dementor ever has. It's a very brilliant grass is always greener scenario.
Leave a message at the tone.
He's so brazen.
Draken is that really dorky guy trying to be cool, but is completely clueless as to what exactly makes one cool.
You think you're all that, but you're not.
In essence, Draken is a guy who just wants to be liked, but due to his lack of confidence and charisma, he feels that the only way to achieve this is by bending others to his will. Which is ironic because his greatest confidant is also his greatest detractor.
Shigo, played by Nicole Sullivan.
Fun fact, Nicole Sullivan never auditioned for the role of Shigo. Basically, while Scully and McCorkle were developing the show, they realized that Draken needed somebody to talk to. They were already familiar with Nicole Sullivan, as she played Princess Mira Nova on Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. So they custom-made Shigo for her to play, as they knew that she had the comedic chops to be the perfect foil for Draken. And in my humble opinion, Shigo is Nicole Sullivan's greatest character. She is the sarcastic, condescending villainess who might be billed as a hench girl, but in truth is the best villain on the show, and Kim's greatest rival. One thing that cannot be denied about the show is that the fight scenes between Kim Possible and Shigo are fan-freaking-tastic. Out of the 87 episodes of Kim Possible, Kim and Shigo fight each other approximately 60 times, and it's always, always, always great. It is one of the show's greatest highlights, and I cannot compliment the animation team enough for always keeping the fight choreography fresh and dynamic. But the most interesting aspect about the Mean Green Lady is that she started out as a superhero. Shigo was part of Team Go, along with her brothers, Higo, Migo, and Wego. Don't look at me, that's the way they came named. They were all imbued with superpowers when they were hit by a multicolored meteor, and they each received different abilities that can be summoned by an internal energy dubbed the Go Team Glow. Shigo's power is often described as energy manipulation, as she can generate amorphous constructs that can either deliver concussive blasts or burn things. Personally, I think she can create plasma energy, but that's just my opinion based on observation, as her powers are never clearly explained on the show.
Oh, mais non, a young lady. She had the glowing green hands.
Eventually, Shigo grew tired of her brother's endless bickering and turned evil. She is a free agent, selling her villainous skills to the highest bidder, which generally turns out to be Dr. Draken. Some folks feel that there are ulterior motives for this, but we'll get to that later. The point is that out of all of Kim's rogues, Shigo is the most badass, and anyone who says otherwise has to answer to her glowing green hands.
Aha! But she is! High five! Shigo, high five.
Alright, time to look at the opposite side of the coin.
The Heroes.
It is important to note that while Kim can do anything, she does not save the world alone, as she has a pretty awesome team backing her up. Starting with
Wade Lode, played by Taj Mori.
the voice on the other side of the communicator, the original guy in the chair. The original person in the chair was Barbara Gordon, never forget that. But Wade takes his role in the eponymous chair to a whole other level, as he never leaves his room, even when he should.
Wade? Live?
In person?
High five! Ah!
Wade is a boy genius. At 10 years old, he completed high school and graduated from college in 8 months. Wade is the one who runs Kim's website, delegates missions, is Kim's eye in the sky, and has invented all of Kim's cleverly concealed gadgets, like the laser lipstick, rocket skates, backpack jetpack, and the very, very handy hairdryer grappling hook.
You know, one day, we really need to take that hairdryer from her.
While he might not be physically there, he is integral to Kim's operation.
Wade, I must say it's a pleasure to finally meet you in the flesh. Meet the WadeBot XR prototype.
Rufus the Naked Mole Rat, played by Nancy Cartwright.
Yes, a naked mole rat is a real animal. Google it if you dare.
There were so many mole rats, so naked.
Ron's beloved pet, whom he purchased at Smarty Mart, because his dad is allergic to all animals with fur. I know this because Ron said it in a rap song. I can't make this up. Rufus is the mascot of the team, and more often than not, he is their secret weapon. Very smart, very loyal, and very handy. One of the questions fans often debate is whether or not Rufus can actually speak. I would say no. His communication with Ron seems more like an understanding that they've built through their bond, rather than actual verbal communication.
Hey, Kim, is everything okay? He sounds kind of freaked.
In the end, this little hairless rodent can always be counted on to get our heroes out of a jam when you least expect it.
Not your autograph, his.
Mine.
Ron Stoppable, played by Will Friedle.
Fun fact, Ron Stoppable was Will Friedle's second job in animation, after playing Terry McGinnis on Batman Beyond. He played two of the most iconic characters of all time back to back.
Booyah!
If Kim is the leader of the team and Wade is the brains, then Ron is definitely the heart. While he might be your standard comic relief sidekick with a penchant for losing his pants,
Ron, stop playing around.
Ron is one of the bravest, kindest, and most optimistic characters on the show, constantly going out of his way for others without expecting recognition. And I mean that literally, as some of the bad guys don't even remember his name.
It's you! That guy!
Kim Possible sidekick.
Kim's best friend since preschool, Ron is always there for Kim no matter what, whether she needs help at school, at home, or saving the world. Ron is the best friend we all wish we had. He might not be the smartest or socially competent, but he sticks with you to the bitter end, even when the situation involves something as terrifying as monkeys.
Monkey!
Oh, no.
One of the most enjoyable aspects of the show is that we get to see Ron grow up. He goes from being a goofy clumsy sidekick to being the goofy clumsy sidekick who will take a stand and fight for the people that he loves, even if it means taking a stand alone.
It is my honor to defeat you.
Kim Possible, played by Christy Carlson Romano.
Kim started out as a preteen girl looking for a part-time babysitting job. So she created a website where you could procure her services, kimpossible.com. What she wasn't expecting was for her first customer to be eccentric billionaire Arthur Paisley, who trapped himself in a laser grid while testing his new security system. So his home security expert tried to contact Team Impossible for help, but typed kimpossible.com by accident. Kim showed up and miraculously proved to be up to the task.
Booyah, Kim!
Yup, Kim Possible. She can do anything, as long as it has to do with saving the world. One of the funniest aspects about this show is that while Kim might be perfect when it comes to being a crime-fighting, world-saving action heroine, she's actually pretty terrible when it comes to doing everyday mundane things, like cooking, driving, playing video games, or coaching a kid's soccer team. It might be humorous, but it's a valuable message that nobody is perfect, and that even a character as idealized as Kim Possible can be relatable. She doesn't have powers or special abilities. Kim only relies on her natural skills to do what she does. Actually, now that I think about it, she does have one superpower.
Oh no, 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 not the puppy dog pout!
Beware the puppy dog pout. But seriously, her power comes from her confidence. Kim is not encumbered by gender norms or other people's opinions. She didn't need to be told that she was the chosen one or that she was special for her to jump into action and help others. Someone asked for aid, she knew that helping was within her skill set, so she did, and then continued doing so because she was good at it. To me, Kim Possible represents the pinnacle of human potential, because with enough dedication and determination, we can do anything.
Season 1.
Kim Possible was the last original Disney Channel show to be produced under the somewhat controversial 65 and done rule, which states that no original Disney Channel show can go past 65 episodes even if the show is a legitimate hit. Why? Because it was believed that children outgrow TV shows faster than adults. So every 3 to 5 years, the Disney Channel would purge most of its original programming and replace it with new shows for the new generation of kids tuning in to watch. Remember that, because it's gonna be important later. Kim Possible premiered on June 7th, 2002, and it was an instant hit, pulling in impressive ratings in multiple markets around the world, even when the episodes were reruns, making it the first original Disney Channel show to be a global hit. While Kim Possible never had any season-long story arcs, the show does have continuity, so it's important that you watch it in order. Unfortunately, both Disney Plus and the DVD set have the episodes out of order, so I highly suggest that you look up an episode list that it's in watching order if this is your first time checking out the show. While most shows take from several episodes to a full season to find their identity and voice, Kim Possible comes out of the gate almost fully formed. One of the very few inconsistencies is that Ron's voice is a little deeper in the pilot episode, but that's it. The animation, writing, and overall performances are consistently good throughout. Kim Possible has a very fluid and unique storytelling style, where the show smoothly weaves from the A plot to the B plot seamlessly. It makes you feel like you're experiencing the fast-paced life of a teenager. So just because Kim has to go save the world, it doesn't mean that her civilian life stops. So most of the time, elements from one part of her life pop up in the other, making everything feel more unified, as opposed to most action shows where often the two remain separate. Most of the show's recurring gags are established right away, like the fact that Kim and Ron are underage, so they always need to get a ride to all their adventures.
Thanks so much for the lift, Colonel.
Well, after the way you tipped us off to that assault Miss Possible, it's an honor and a privilege.
How Mr. Barkin miraculously teaches all the classes in Middleton High.
She ate the cafeteria meatloaf.
Yes.
Now, until she's out of intensive care, I'll be covering her class.
And Ron's obsession with the fast food restaurant Bueno Nacho. While Kim is a star athlete and her best friend is a boy, she herself is not a tomboy. Kim is very feminine and fashionable, an aspect of her character that is explored through her friendship with Monique, played by Raven-Symoné, and their love for the very trendy clothing store Club Banana, which is a tongue-in-cheek reference to Christy Carlson Romano's two favorite stores when she was 17, Club Monaco and Banana Republic. While episodic, Season 1 is a solid introduction to the franchise that makes it 100% apparent why the show became such a big hit so fast.
You think you're all that, but you're not!
Season 2.
Now that the show was a certified hit, the network went all out on Kim Possible, making it their flagship show. While Season 1 was 20 episodes, 30 were ordered for Season 2, 3 of which would be used as a full-length special that would air in the middle of the season while the show was on hiatus. While Season 1 was pretty epic, somehow, someway the creators found a way to make Season 2 even more epic, increasing the peril and the stakes for our heroes.
Let me give you a hand.
How many times have you used that line?
At this time, the creators introduced the 2-segment episodes, which consist of 2 short 10-minute stories which lack substance but are packed with a lot of fun.
And the pond is filled with, don't tell me, sharks, crocs.
Electric eels, actually.
The bad villain puns just write themselves.
One of my favorite aspects of Kim Possible is that while on most shows the characters stay the same, on Kim Possible the characters grow up, learn, and evolve. This is illustrated in two of my favorite episodes. The first is The Fearless Ferret. This one is an overt parody of Batman Beyond, which sees Ron doing volunteer work with the elderly and be assigned to a retired actor named Timothy North, played by none other than Adam West. But it turns out that North was a superhero when he was young, and chooses Ron to take up his mantle. This is the first time in the series where we get to see Ron be a hero on his own, and it is fantastic. My other favorite Season 2 episode is Exchange, where Ron is chosen for a student exchange program and is sent to Japan to the Yamanouchi school to study under a mystical sensei played by George Takei. As it turns out, Yamanouchi is a secret ninja school dedicated to protecting powerful mystical weapons, which of course draw the attention of Lord Monkey Fist. Not only do we get to see Ron mature and take responsibility for his actions, but this episode initiates the only recurring story arc throughout the entire series, as we see Ron and Monkey Fist clash multiple times over the mystical forces protected by Yamanouchi.
Ha! Who's the smart monkey now?
They must not escape!
All the while developing Ron's relationship with his only recurring love interest, Yuri, played by the very lovely and very talented Keiko Agena.
Yeah, great, but Stubble-san, until the day we again meet.
And thus we arrive at the show's first animated special, A Stitch in Time. Now, remember how I said that the show gets more epic this season? Well, buckle up, because the epic dial is about to be turned up to 11. In the midst of discovering that Ron is moving away and the team is about to be split forever, our heroes find out that Draken, Shigo, Killigan, and Monkey Fist have teamed up to steal an ancient relic called the Tempest Simia, which will allow the villains to travel through time at will. Kim and Ron try to stop them, and they lose. The villains get away and start trying to alter history in their favor. Oh, not epic enough for you? Well, get a load of this. Kim gets visited by Rufus's great-great-great-great-great descendant from the future, played by Michael Dorn, who tells her that due to the villain's time meddling, the future has become a dystopian wasteland, ruled by a powerful villain called the Supreme One, and only Kim can save the timeline. What ensues is an awesome time travel adventure where we get to explore our hero's origins, and we get to see just how much Kim's heroism has inspired the people that she loves, as we build up to her final confrontation with the Supreme One, who turns out to be none other than Shigo. I told you she was Kim's greatest nemesis.
No. It can't be! You'll pay for this, lady! Oh yes! You will pay!
The show returned from hiatus with its first and only Christmas episode, A Very Possible Christmas, which is wonderful and beautiful, and I watch it every year, and I can't recommend it enough.
Of course, once we enter the new year, the truce is over. I'm going to open a bag of freak on all of you.
The rest of the season is pretty solid, comprised primarily of standalone episodes.
Nothing to it. Sorry if I scared you.
Are you kidding? That was awesome. I have to get your father to try this.
Season 3.
With only 14 episodes left to fulfill their 65 and done deal, this show went out with a bang, as the creators made sure to maintain the momentum from Season 2 and continue to service the characters' arcs that were established from the beginning. And on top of that, the 3 final episodes would be allocated to be used for the show's second and final animated special, which would come to be known as the Kim Possible movie. No, show me the real Kim Possible movie. Perfection. Now, before we get into the true Kim Possible movie, some notable Season 3 episodes include Bad Boy, where Ron absorbs all of Draken's evil and becomes the most efficient villain in the whole series. Will Friedle's performance in this episode is excellent.
Oh,
Now why didn't he ever think of that?
That's why I'm the big dog. Woof woof bark.
Rappin' Draken, which has a very Pinky and the Brain take over the world plot using brainwashing shampoo, but that is inconsequential once you hear Draken rapping.
With Dr. D's brainwashing shampoo and cranium rinse.
Oh, and this is also the episode with the naked mole rap.
Legend of the Naked Mole Rat. Bye-bye.
And the mole rat will be CGI. Some dirtbag Hollywood producer decides to make a Kim Possible movie with no substance, miscasted actors, and a CG version of Rufus. Thank God nothing that terrible ever happened in real life. Gorilla Fist. Ron's secret ninja saga continues as a new villain named Gorilla Fist threatens the Yamanouchi school and its secrets, and Kim officially becomes aware of Ron's adventures in Japan and his special relationship with Yuri.
I am not freaking. I am not gelling.
Gelling? What's gelling?
Never mind gelling.
Hello, what is this then? Team Impossible. Kim is finally confronted by the team of heroes for hire whose business she stole when Arthur Paisley accidentally called her for help instead of them. Team Impossible get busy dismantling every part of Kim's life to ensure that she can't save the world anymore. They even Spike Wade.
And?
Spike?
So, that's it? Team Impossible just wins?
Nobody spikes my systems. Look familiar?
You rock even more in person, Wade.
Seriously, don't mess with Wade. And so, our show concludes with the real Kim Possible movie. So the drama. I can tell you, without the necessity of exaggeration, embellishment, or hyperbole, that this movie is amazing. While Kim and Ron are stressing over finding dates for the prom, Draken devises his greatest plan ever. One that not even Shigo can figure out.
Kim Possible is not smarter than you.
True.
If you can't figure it out, she can't figure it out.
Our heroes do their best to foil their fiendish foes while their friendship starts to fall apart due to Kim gaining her first boyfriend, Eric. Or as I like to call him, Perfect Man. This movie is everything that is great about Kim Possible packed into a hilarious, entertaining, touching, thrilling hour and a half. And it all beautifully builds up to Kim and Ron's final confrontation with Shigo and Draken. One that is memorable for many reasons.
Say my name. Say it!
Stoppable!
Booyah!
And thus, the show ends with the moment that many fans hoped for but never thought we'd get.
Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable are dating?
And so, with the agreed upon 65 episodes produced and delivered, Kim Possible ended. Or did it?
Season 4.
Yes, Kim Possible came back for one more season. Why? Because the fans demanded it. Now, it is important to note that these were the days before social media and change.org, so fans informed the Disney Channel of their desire for Kim Possible to return via a letter writing campaign. Yes, actual, tangible letters, with paper, envelopes, and stamps. Disney received over 1 million letters from fans all around the world, which was so impactful that Disney abolished the 65 and done rule and brought Kim Possible back for another 22 episodes. So if anybody ever tells you that a fan's voice doesn't matter, never forget that we brought Kim Possible back to life. We did that. Season 4 was basically the show's victory lap. The creators had reached a milestone that no other original Disney Channel show ever had, and they were going to enjoy themselves. So while the final episodes maintained the same level of quality as the previous ones, the epicness was dialed down a bit. and the show focused more on the evolution of the characters. Kim and Ron start dating, they become high school seniors, they get jobs, Ron becomes a big brother to his adopted sister Hannah, Wade starts joining them on missions, Draken spends half the season in jail, Kim's brothers become freshmen at her school, she gets a car, Wade turns the communicator into a watch, but the most controversial change of them all is that they changed Kim Possible's costume.
The look actually works, and it totally bugs me to have to say it.
It's not bad, but Steven Silver's original design is so iconic, and in my opinion, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, while I'm super appreciative that Kim Possible came back for another 22 episodes, this is the only season that has episodes that I don't like. The good news is, it's only 2 of them. The first one is the Cupid effect. Wade meets Monique for the first time and falls in love with her. He doesn't know what to do, so he builds a love ray to force her to fall in love with him. I'm not even gonna get into the many reasons why this premise is so messed up. Then, when the episode ends and he learns his lesson, a girl makes her own love ray and does the same thing to him. Yeah, that's just as messed up. And the only other episode that I don't like is Larry's birthday. Jesus, Zeus, and Buddha, do I freaking hate Cousin Larry. Now you might be asking, who the heck is Cousin Larry? He is Kim's obnoxious dorky cousin, whose vast nerd knowledge occasionally comes in handy during Kim's missions. First of all, as a character in this universe, Larry just doesn't work. This is an uber nerd who's into comics, D&D, and anime, but he lives in a world where superheroes, supervillains, aliens, and time travel are real. So his escape from reality is the same as his reality? So it's not really an escape, it's more like a revolving door. It just doesn't make sense. Now, don't get me wrong, I get the joke. Larry is a parody of people like me, and probably people like you. Folks that are a little too into fandom, to the point of obsession. And hey, I can take a joke, but what I can't take is a full episode about this guy that concludes with him saving Kim and Ron and defeating Professor Dementor. I mean, what? It's like a full episode of Ninja Turtles that focuses on the Pulverizer and then concludes with him defeating the Shredder alone. Just no. Alright, enough negativity. The rest of the show is great. Let's talk about some good episodes. Starting with Oh No Yo No. This is the epic conclusion of Ron's secret ninja arc, where our favorite goofy sidekick learns that Sensei and Yuri were not preparing him to be the Chosen One. They were preparing him to protect the Chosen One, who is none other than his little sister Hana. So Ron has his final confrontation with Lord Monkey Fist, where the master of mystical monkey kung fu is definitively defeated. And thus, we arrive at the show's actual finale, Graduation, Part 1 and 2. As the title suggests, our heroes are about to graduate from high school and head into the unknown. Meanwhile, in a much earlier episode, Draken is officially busted out of jail by a big powerful green woman who is not Shigo. This is Warmonga, an intergalactic Amazon in search of the despot of her dreams. By the end of that episode, Warmonga figures out that Draken ain't it, and ditches the big blue buffoon. Well, guess what? On graduation day, Warmonga came back, and this time, she's not alone, as she found her cosmic conqueror. This is Warhawk, played by the incomparable Ron Perlman. Yes, Ron Perlman, one of my all-time favorite actors, plays the final boss on Kim Possible. That is awesome. Warhawk's first move before conquering the planet is to kidnap its greatest hero, Kim Possible, and its greatest villain, Dr. Draken? Huh, Draken must have a really good publicist. What the would-be conqueror doesn't realize is that Kim and Draken don't work alone, and their respective partners suit up, roll out, and go to save them. What ensues is a glorious final showdown that sees our 4 main characters team up to save the world, using a plan that Draken came up with.
To save the world?
Do not make me say those words!
Yeah, as it turns out, while Draken sucks at coming up with take over the world schemes, he's actually brilliant at coming up with plans to save the world. The irony! Hello, what is this then? And so the show ends, with the world safe from alien threats and Kim realizing that she is no longer alone saving the world, as she has inspired others to do so through her good deeds. So Kim and Rod accept their diplomas and ride off into a whole new adventure.
Final verdict.
So, in spite of its silly premise, highly stylized universe, and overly saccharine Disney Channel tone, why does this show work? Well, it's been my experience that animated shows that have the same universal appeal as Kim Possible fall under two categories. One, intense, non-condescending dramas, or two, overt, edgy comedies. In my opinion, Kim Possible is the first animated show to successfully combine the two, where you're getting brilliant comedy, intense action, and genuine dramatic moments all in the same show. But here's the X factor. Kim Possible achieves all of this while still being completely harmless. There's nothing questionable, indecent, or traumatizing about Kim Possible. Anyone of any age can enjoy Kim Possible. 10 points in the badassitude meter. Make some nachos, grab yourself a nice tall glass of Cocoa Moo, and give it a watch. Oh yeah, I could sure go for a glass of Cocoa Moo. Until next time, I'm ERod, and I'm the Blockbuster Buster. Hold on. How did Draken turn blue?
Glad you asked. Funny story. Not funny, haha, but it was a Tuesday.